Today in Fantasy News, I have to re-record the whole episode because I used the wrong mic the first time. But we have big Star Wars news coming in rather hot and fast. It is finally being strongly rumored that an Obi Wan Kenobi TV show is in the works. Ewan McGregor has apparently been down since day one to reprise his role, because you know, money. And also with the recent resurgence of the prequels gaining favor online through memedom, where it's kind of an ironic liking, but there's now people who really defend them a lot. It's strange, and it seems to have kind of reinvigorated bringing back the Obi Wan Kenobi role. Now, this makes sense, but the rumor is it will not be a movie. Instead, it will be a TV show for the Disney Plus streaming service coming down the road. I'm getting these rumors from StarWarsNews.net, so if they turn out not to be true, don't blame me, just go burn down their website, find the founders, and let me know where they live. But it's interesting to say the least to see these rumors being circulated and many other news sites talking about them as rumors. And the only reason I do bring all of this up is because what I'm reading does make sense. After the box office crash that was Solo, a Star Wars story, it would make sense that if they were planning on announcing an Obi-Wan film around that time, they might have gotten cold feet and rethought their strategy, and instead approaching a miniseries starring one of the universe's favorite characters and using that character to draw in more people to the Disney Plus streaming service, especially when it's one of the largest fantasy fan bases in existence. Star Wars is sci-fantasy, it's not sci-fi, fight me about it.
Bring it on!
That just all adds up to these rumors having some real credence to them. And with Ewan McGregor stating on the record multiple times that he would be willing to reprise his Obi-Wan role, I don't see why this wouldn't happen. Draw in a massive fan base to your streaming service, get that subscription money, put a smaller budget into a 6-part TV show than you would have to for a giant, epic, huge movie that you might lose money on, and possibly kick off your streaming service to one day rival the likes of Netflix. This is why we're already seeing Disney make moves to bring as much Marvel content in the Disney Plus streaming service as well, and their original Disney classics and future upcoming projects. It's going to be interesting to see if this one can float, with all of these streaming services becoming available in the recent months, and I'm sure many more in the next coming years. Which ones float and which ones sink will be neat. Content is king, and an Obi Wan Kenobi TV show is certainly some king content. But this has been a Fantasy News rumor. Let me know in the comments down below, is an Obi Wan TV show, a 6-part series, something you want to see, or are you just stubbornly in the movie or nothing camp? Because I'm a little torn. I want to see a Kenobi film, to be honest, but 6 hours of Kenobi's better than 2.5, so I don't know. I love Ewan McGregor. Damn, he's a beautiful man. In next Fantasy News, we have our hopes being brought way up for a possible massive letdown for something that's let us down several times before, and that is the chance of a Halo movie. It's being claimed it's in the works, and yes, that sounds all nice and things, but we've been told this before as fans of the franchise, and it's never paid off. But it's late enough in production to officially have a director announced, and his name is Otto. I'm really bad with names. And with how much love and lore is around this franchise, maybe the video game curse could be broken. Maybe this will be good. Let's see what other projects this director has helmed. Oh my god. But in other adaptation news, Children of Blood and Bone, as I've previously covered on Fantasy News, is also being adapted into a movie, and it as well has tapped a director to head up the project. Rick Famuyiwa, I'm really bad with names, will be directing the movie, and let's look at his previous projects. Oh, okay. I'm a little confused. I personally have not, or Daniel Hackfraud, Terrible Booktuber, has not read Children of Blood and Bone, but should it be placed on his TBR? Let me know in the comments down, or let him know in the comments down below. And in snap news, Sci-Fi has canceled George R.R. Martin's sci-fi series, Night Flyers. The series was described as psycho in space, and while there was some definite mumblings and interest early on, it quickly just kind of bottomed out, and the series is officially dead. So if you were looking forward to another George R.R. Martin adaptation, I'm sorry to let you know, but it's kaput. But speaking of things that are most certainly not kaput, the TV show The Mandalorian, another Star Wars Wars-based property, has officially begun production in the UK. And speaking of massive bloated franchises that might be past their pinnacle, the Black Widow movie has been confirmed, not R. People were really interested in possibly seeing an R-rated Black Widow movie, but no. Kevin Feige has confirmed it is PG-13, it was always planned to be PG-13, and it looks like the MCU itself will likely never have an R-rated film, with this one being, in my opinion, their best shot to do it, and them just not taking it. PG-13 seems to be the upper limit of what the MCU will allow itself to do.
Oh, come on!
I don't entirely blame them. The mass market family appeal is important to the profits of the MCU, and they might have had to constrain the budget of the movie if they were only going to release it to an R audience. They couldn't guarantee a Deadpool-like return on investment. So they've gone the safer route, and PG-13 does still allow for some violence and guns and shoot-bangs, just no nudity and excessive swearing. Because in America, you can watch someone's head explode, but God forbid you see a nipple. A dirty, dirty nipple. Also, a ton of trailers are released, and let's go over those now. American Gods Season 2. It looked very good. I'm not going to show it here because I can't afford another copyright strike, but if you have not seen it, go right ahead. Daniel Greene, the hack, fraud, loser, idiot, lonely booktuber, will start the series soon and be giving you a review of American Gods Season 1. His Dark Materials, the adaptation happening over at BBC, which is way further along in production than I originally thought, also had its first trailer release, and while there wasn't much given to the audience in terms of what to expect besides a whole lot of action sequences, it was a fine enough trailer and definitely looks different than the previous movie, which failed to satisfy audiences. We got more Game of Thrones snippets, little tiny snippets, as HBO released a kind of collage of the next seasons they have happening over at HBO, and we definitely got some good glimpses into what will be happening. We saw Arya looking interested. The wall's down. We knew that. We knew the wall's down. That's it, I think. But, you know, it was more Game of Thrones, so who cares? And in most certainly not as exciting as a trailer news, the Lord of the Rings production has released a map, because we are fantasy nerds and we love maps, of what the upcoming world will be like in the Lord of the Rings prequel. Things are different. You need to take a look at this map for a second, so I'm gonna take a cold, long drink. This can's empty. I'm pretending. Oh, it wasn't entirely empty. There's your map. And in the actual sunset of adaptation, the It TV series, two-part TV series that we all enjoyed when we were younger and scarred some of us who saw it way, way too young, is having a reunion, and Tim Curry is involved. They'll be talking about what it was like being involved in one of the most iconic Stephen King adaptations of all time. Not best quality. Don't accuse me of saying best quality. It has its problems. It's charming. It's fine. But it is iconic because it affected a lot of kids growing up. We'll be having a little reunion to talk about what it was like. Tim Curry's going to be there. I'm excited. I want to watch that. Who doesn't want to watch that? Tim Curry's super dope.
Aren't you going to say hello?
And in rage-inducing news, Daniel Greene passed 2 million views on YouTube. How does he continue to thrive on this disgrace of a platform? I will never know. But I imagine he's incredibly thankful for his audience. He's expressing that gratitude the best he can with his social awkwardness. And you know, this has been Fantasy News. Join me next time when I do a deep dive into the phenomenal, ridiculous, incredible Dune casting that has been announced, and that'll be coming out later this week or early next week. I don't really know, whenever I feel like it, really, and can't think of another video to do that day. I'll be doing a deep dive to show just how ridiculous this movie is and speculate on the budget, or just how good the script is, because it must take an insane script to get this many people signed on. But that's been Fantasy News. Like and subscribe if you've not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what we at the large news team do here. Right, Pips? My assistant? He's asleep. But this has been Fantasy News. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.